Guys, I would love to detail my $4,000 NFP day trading with $30,000 NFP. But before that, I want to take you a little back just to show you guys how I was super prepared for that trade. It all starts with the higher time frame. You got information that you need from both the higher time frame and the smaller time frame. So let's get started here. US30 had been on a bearish downtrend all until reaching this particular area and all until last week. So here's an area that stood out to me. And I'll go ahead and make this green. This area stood out to me because number one, we got some rejection from this area. Now, when price comes into an area, it fills in this imbalance, it takes out sell-side liquidity, and we get this big movement to the upside, maybe about 3,000 pips points to the upside. It's an area that I'm expecting for price to have another rejection to. Maybe not as much, maybe more, but definitely a rejection. So price starts to travel down on a bearish downtrend. We create a low. After creating this low, price comes up for manipulation. Also going back into premium. After coming back into premium, which it came back into that breaker structure right here, right? Sometimes we don't get the rejection from an OB or 50% of imbalance. Sometimes it's simply a breaker structure. And that's what price did. It came into the breaker structure here. So after coming back into that breaker structure on this weekly time frame, we came back down into this area. We finally swept this low. And as stated before, guys, I wanted to see these lows being taken out, which they were. These lows were taken out here, and we got that rejection that we were looking for. This brings us to last week. So although US30 had a pretty bearish month, last week it started to go in the opposite direction. Let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame. So this is all of last week. Here's Monday, where we first started to get that push to the upside. Now, guys, the most important part of trading US30 is understanding the structure and understanding that price is not random. So here's Monday. We have an area of interest right here. Now you have to look at the chart beforehand. Before price comes back into here, we want to be able to notice that, hey, price has imbalance right here. There's also an OB. So as we're making higher highs, we broke structure here. We created a new high. Remember liquidity. Remember liquidity. Before I enter a trade, I want to see that some type of sell side or buy side sweep has happened. And in this case, here's that sell side sweep. So even though price made a new high, higher high, we're expecting a higher low, but not if there's going to be sell side liquidity as well as imbalance beneath it. This is the only exception. So it also manipulates traders into believing that we created a new low and that we're creating a lower high, which here you see the lower high was created here, respecting this little area, and traders would jump in to create a new low. And that's where a lot of people get manipulated, and because they don't understand liquidity. So during the duration of the week, price continues to climb up, creating new highs, pulling back. Looks like Thursday, there was not much retracement happening. And then we get to Friday for that NFP trade. Now, this is where you have to pay close attention to detail. The first thing you want to do is look for breaks of structure. So the first thing that I noticed, right, on Thursday was that we broke this high here. This is the candle that broke the high. That's the candle that broke the high. And the candle before the candle that broke that high was going to be my area of interest. And I even posted this in my Instagram stories. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, search Tokyo the Trader. And sometimes I post setups and sometimes I post the status of certain trades. So ahead of NFP Friday, guys, I already had an area of interest. Now, you might ask me, why was that my area of interest and not this one? It's simply because that was the last break of structure. And the way price was climbing on Thursday, I was not expecting price to pull back this far. If it did pull back that far, then I would have adjusted my analysis, but I was pretty set on this area being my entry for NFP Friday. This is how the trade ended. And I think I profited about $4,300. And that's my NFP Friday. Now let's go back into what I'm projecting for this week. So we have a new week, which means that we have a new weekly candle right here. The goal for you is to identify where price may want to go to and where your area of interest are. So we always want to remember what price has left behind, right? So now we have a new area of interest, which is this candle right here. We have a new area of interest. We have sell side liquidity here. And we also notice that price created a higher low on the weekly time frame, which is an indication to me that price wants to continue upward. Here's that buy side liquidity here. Looks like it created an equal high. Let me just go ahead and open this chart to see. Okay. Looks like we took out this buy side liquidity, which is a week ahead of it. And now I want to see how this candle plays out. Two things could happen here, guys. Two things could happen. Either price is reaching up to fill in this imbalance and reject from this area here and continue to sell down from here, which we'd see something like this happen. Which is more likely, in my opinion. The second scenario is that price takes out the high for the previous week, pulls back here, comes here, and back down. That's another scenario. So the idea is to follow price, allow price to move. If price is still in an uptrend, pay attention to this zone on the weekly time frame. How do you know if price is still in an uptrend? You're going to notice that we continuously make new highs and higher lows, right? So if we're making new highs, which this is a sell side liquidity sweep here, looks like we come here. If we're making new highs, this means that price should be coming up, taking out some highs, making higher lows, unless it's a liquidity grab and you'd have an area of interest. And this is how we'd know if price is continuing to the upside. Of course, we'd be mindful of that area here, which is on that weekly time frame. And if price decides that it's not in an uptrend, well, guys, you'd see that we don't respect the highs. We make lower highs and we continuously make lower lows. At that point, you find somewhere to safely enter the market with proper risk management, and you follow the trend. You should have your areas of interest mapped out on the higher time frame. And once you start to really understand structure, guys, trading US30 will be much more easy. Trading the news will be much more easier for you to understand, and you won't feel like it's random. If you guys would like to join my US30 Bootcamp, it is now on sale. Simply click the link in the description and join the US30 Bootcamp. And if you would like to have access to Sunday mentorship, where we get on Zoom live and we go over the charts together and prepare for the week, the link is also in the description. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks for watching.